Day 5 of being in the witness stand seemed to have gotten to Najib Razak, who lost his cool after the prosecutor turned up the heat in his cross-examination. It must have all been too much for the former Prime Minister, who slipped out during a break in the evening and never came back.
Aras 5.
By the Malaysian Insight, this is The People versus Najib Razak. Follow us into the courtroom where it all happens. I'm Patrick Teo. Dressed in a brown suit and an orange striped tie, Najib was back in court for day 62 of his SRC trial, which is also his 5th day on the witness stand. The former Prime Minister is currently being cross-examined by Attorney General Tommy Thomas. This morning, the question centered on the two 2 billion ringgit loans that the Civil Servants Retirement Fund, or KWAP, had given to SRC. Tommy started by showing Najib 7 sets of documents. The first and second documents were the proposal to incorporate SRC and the company's memorandum and articles of association. The third document was the proposal by SRC's CEO Nik Faisal Arif Kamil requesting a 3.95 billion ringgit loan from KWAP. It was addressed to Najib. The fourth document was an email sent to Nik Faisal, and the fifth were his replies. The sixth and seventh documents were the July papers, which were the proposals for the 1 billion ringgit and 2 billion ringgit loans, respectively. The Attorney General told Najib that these documents were all done before the formal appointment of the SRC board. Najib agreed. Yesterday, you said all the steps you took in SRC were on the advice of the board. How could you have received such advice relating to these 7 documents when the board of directors were non-existent? Tommy asked. Najib said it must have been forwarded to him by the 1MDB CEO at that time, who was Sharul Azral Ibrahim Halmi. Tommy was unconvinced. I put it to you that all these decisions were made without any board of directors and solely by you, he told Najib. The former PM strongly denied this. No, I disagree, he said. Let's hear more from Ray.
If you recall, SRC's loans were only approved by KWAP because it had received a government guarantee. Meaning to say, if SRC defaulted in its repayment, the loan became the government's responsibility. Tommy suggested to Najib that the approval of the government guarantee to SRC was not standard practice. Najib disagreed. The government guarantee for SRC's loan did not need any feedback from other ministries because they had already been backed by the Ministry of Finance, he said. Tommy pressed further. Was this why you became the Minister of Finance? So that you could control things such as these? I'm putting it to you that this was not standard practice. No, you're wrong, Najib strongly objected.
Moving on, Tommy brought up more documents, this time minutes of a cabinet meeting which Najib had chaired on August 17, 2011. In this meeting, the cabinet agreed to give SRC a government guarantee for its first 2 billion ringgit loan. Why didn't you excuse yourself from this meeting? Tommy quizzed Najib. You were hopelessly in conflict. Najib said he didn't have a personal interest in the matter and didn't see the need to recuse himself. But the AG did not agree. He accused Najib of having a personal interest in granting the government guarantee because without it, the loan would not have been approved. Najib was unperturbed. He replied that he totally disagreed with Tommy and that he was confident that there was no conflict of interest. Court then took a short break. Najib took this opportunity to stretch his legs and headed to the basement cafeteria for a cup of coffee and a bite to eat. He was joined by former Federal Territories Minister Tengku Adnan Tunku Mansor, who was in court for his own trial, as well as Pasir Salak MP Tajuddin Abdul Rahman and Pontian MP Ahmad Mazlan. After the break, Tommy focused on the 4 billion ringgit loan after it was disbursed. He asked Najib about the SRC money that was parked in Falcon Private Bank in Switzerland and Julius Baer Bank in Hong Kong. "It was not my decision to park the money there," Najib said. He claimed that he didn't sign the approval for this and that his signature was forged. Najib added that this was an operational matter and that he was only interested in policy. "Are you saying you weren't interested in the company?" the AG pressed. "No, I didn't get involved in the management of the company," Najib replied. Delving into the second 2 billion ringgit loan to SRC, which Najib had endorsed in February 2012, Tommy asked Najib if he ever questioned what SRC had done with the first loan. "I asked and I was told the money was set aside for investment purposes," Najib said. "Did you ask where the money was?" Tommy prodded. "I didn't ask further," the former PM said. "I trusted the board. They had a fiduciary duty." Tommy found his answer to be incredulous. He said, "I find it unbelievable that you went ahead with the second loan although you didn't know where the money went. It could have been misspent." Tommy then brought out a document dated March 13, 2012. It was from Nick Faisal to then KWAP CEO Azian Mohamed Noor regarding the second loan. The letter stated that the finance minister, that was Najib, approved and endorsed the loan facility. The AG told Najib that the loan was one that the former PM had agreed to and endorsed by the SRC board. Once again, Najib disagreed with Tommy's suggestion. He said it wasn't in his power to approve the loan. When questioned about the speed in which the funds were disbursed, Najib said it was SRC that asked that the loan be released early, not MOF. Circling back to the SRC funds that were parked overseas, the AG asked Najib why he had not allowed former Second Finance Minister Ahmad Husni Hanatzla to go to Switzerland. If you remember, Husni had a beef with Najib. He told the court during his testimony that he was kicked out of anything that had to do with SRC and felt like a glorified office boy. Husni wanted to go to Switzerland to find out what happened to SRC's money. This was after the Swiss authorities froze the account. Najib said he didn't allow it because Husni didn't put in a formal request. Tommy countered that he didn't let Husni go because he would have discovered the truth about what happened to the money. "You didn't want your cover to be blown," Tommy said. "That is not true," the former PM replied. The proceedings had been going on relatively smoothly for the day, but things began to heat up as 5 p.m. drew closer. Ray, tell us more.
Najib, who had been calmly answering the questions thrown at him, was starting to get annoyed. Tommy asked Najib why he didn't do anything to try to bring the money back from Switzerland. SRC was supposed to do it, Najib answered. "Weren't you shocked about what happened to the money?" Tommy asked. Again, Najib said it was SRC who was supposed to do it. At this, Tommy lost his cool. "SRC is not on trial. You are," the lawyer said loudly. "I put it to you that you did nothing to investigate. This was taxpayers' money, but you did nothing." Najib too lost his composure. He raised his voice and repeated his answer. SRC was supposed to do it.
Tommy kept pressing Najib on the steps that he had taken to bring SRC's money back, reminding him that SRC was insolvent by the time Najib left office in 2018. Najib stuck to his answer that he left it to MOF Inc. to handle the retrieval of the money through SRC because that was how it worked in the ministry. "You do nothing, the money is not going to fall from the heavens, Dato Sri," Tommy said sarcastically, referring to Najib by his title. Najib angrily retorted that the money was there and SRC is not insolvent. Tommy kept at it. He didn't back down. He accused Najib of having, quote, arranged this whole scheme so you could personally benefit, and I conclude that these series of actions over the years were deliberate and premeditated and designed and planned as a corrupt act, and that you benefited personally, unquote. No, I disagree, Najib said. Tommy then asked to see Judge Nazlan in chambers. While this was happening, Najib left before proceedings formally ended for the day. When they realized Najib was no longer in court, his lawyer Shafi called him, only to be told that Najib was stuck in traffic on Jalan Tun Razak. Shafi apologized to Judge Nazlan for his client's behavior. The judge let Shafi off with a warning that he doesn't repeat this. With that, court adjourned, and luckily for Najib, who, as it seems, was getting overwhelmed, the SRC International trial will continue next Wednesday. This podcast is produced, written and mixed by Revati Supramaniam, Yap Pik Kwan and Yvonne Lim. Additional reporting by Ravin Palanisamy. I'm Patrick Teo.